de Yale. Es psicóloga e investigadora científica de formación. Su experiencia es la ciencia de la felicidad, la inteligencia emocional y la conexión social. Emma Cepala también es directora científica del Centro de Investigación y Educación sobre la Compasión y el Altruismo de la Universidad de Stanford. Así que no sé si anda Emma por ahí para agregarla. Nos va a compartir su experiencia en los últimos 20-25 años enseñando bienestar universitario en Estados Unidos. Hi Emma, how are you?
Ay, Tomás, hola, buenos días todos. Mi español no es bueno, voy a hablar en inglés, pero me alegro de estar aquí. Thank you for inviting me, Thomas.
No, it's a pleasure. 1 minute. Para todos aquellos que no sepan inglés, pueden ir abajo al
Ajá.
mundito donde dice interpretación. Y una vez que apretan el mundito que dice interpretación, dice escuchar en y apreten español. Y cuando apretas en español, la voz de Emma va a pasar a un segundo plano y va a estar Juan Felipe traduciendo a Emma en vivo en español. Pero igual, a Emma la conozco personalmente. ¿Hablas 5 idiomas, Emma? ¿Hablas?
Oh, God. Tres buenas, dos no muy buenas, incluyendo el español.
Bueno, cualquier cosa la hacemos hablar a Emma en español. Muchas gracias, Emma. Te dejamos para que nos cuentes cómo implementan el bienestar universitario hace tantos años en Stanford y en Yale University para que podamos también aprender y nutrirnos mutuamente.
Gracias, Tomás. Okay, so I will share my slides with you. I'm really happy to be here today with you all. Let me share my slides. Hold on. There we go. Okay. I want to start with a simple idea to get us thinking about what well-being means. And that idea is that the state of our life, the quality of our life, depends on the state of our mind. So what do I mean by that? Let's say you finally are on vacation and you made it to your favorite beach and it's beautiful and it's sunset and there's pelicans flying and your feet are sinking in the warm sand, but you're upset. You're upset about something. Does it matter that you're on your favorite beach at sunset looking at the pelicans? It doesn't matter at all because you're upset. So in fact, your environment has no impact on you at that moment. Similarly, you could be stuck in traffic and you're going to be there for hours. You don't have anything to eat or drink, but you're dancing in the car, you're happy, and it doesn't matter that you're in traffic. So the quality of our life depends on the state of our mind. And that's really good news because there's not that much that we can do about external circumstances, but there's so much that we can do about our internal circumstances. And I think another example is during the pandemic, there were days that were the same day after day, and there were some days that were hard, and there were some days that were good. What was the difference? It was the same thing happening every day, but it was the state of our mind. And that is really empowering because we can actually do something about our state of mind. That's something we do have control over. And I'll share some of the science of that. And Tomas is the expert in the art of that. So am I speaking slowly enough for the translator? Everything going well? Yeah? Okay, good. So I'll continue then. So, oftentimes there's this idea, I don't know if it's the same, this is the idea anyway in the US and certainly in parts of Europe, that you're supposed to leave your emotions at the door. That emotions need to just, you come into a workplace or into a classroom or wherever, leave your emotions at the door. And that's a myth. It doesn't really work, right? And I think you can, figure it out for yourself. Even before coming in to this call today, I imagine that you looked at your messages or your emails, and in the few moments that you looked at your messages, you could have had a number of different emotions, right? One message saying, oh, you have to send something in soon to someone makes you feel stressed. Another message, somebody's newborn pictures and you feel happy for them and so forth and so on. And you get text messages asking you for this, for that. we're constantly having emotions course through our system much, much more than our ancestors ever would in that short of a time span. We go through in 5 minutes, we feel as many emotions as probably our ancestors felt in a month, because of our technology. So they're constantly there. Even if you think you're not emotional, you're feeling emotions all the time. Hopefully right now you're feeling happy and curious and excited to be here. But again, maybe you checked some messages, an hour ago, 5 minutes ago, and they made you feel something else. So why do they matter? They matter because they impact absolutely everything we do. For example, when you're feeling stressed or angry, it's really hard to pay attention, to remember things, and to learn, which is so critical for everything that we want to do in life, whether it's at school or at work. Decision making. You're going to make a decision very differently on a day that you're very stressed versus you just came back from 3 weeks at that beach that you were on vacation at. You actually look at the world differently, because when we're stressed, we often look at the world through a lens of fear, which is a very different way of looking at things. And we know from research that stress makes our vision very narrow. We literally see less things. Even with our eyes, we perceive less things when we're stressed than when we are calm. Relationships, oftentimes it's the people that we love the most and want to hurt the least that bear the brunt of our inability to handle our negative emotions. And those are the most important relationships to us. Physical health, we know that stress is linked to inflammation, which is the root cause of many diseases like diabetes and cancer. And then mental health is obviously tightly linked to our emotions. So they matter. And how do we handle them? Well, what's interesting is that we haven't really learned much about that